All right, ladies and gentlemen, programmers, we're going to do lesson 4, part 4, finishing up the little crab. All right, so again, we want to alternate the images. We want our crab to move his little arms like this. To do the animation, we need to alternate between two images. So switch from this image 1 to image 2, image 1, image 2. So here's a pseudocode. It's part English, part Java. So if our current image is image 1, then set the image to image 2. Otherwise, go back to image 1. Okay, so that's not Java. Don't type this code in. That's pseudocode. You use pseudocode to help you figure out the logic of it. Like, okay, what am I going to do? And then once you figure out, okay, how am I going to accomplish it? Then you actually write the Java code. Write this down in your notes on lined paper. Hit pause and do that. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so alternating the images, the method getImage. So if you look at this, like, hey, if our current image is image 1, well, how do we do that? There's a method called getImage. We can use that to get the actor's current image. We're going to use the equals operator. That's the assignment, or that's the comparison operator. Does the current image equal image 1? Okay. Write this down in your notes. What does equal do? What does equal do? If you don't know the answer, please ask me. The if statement has an extended form with an else keyword. So we've seen the if before. So now we have else. So the way this works is if the current image is image 1, then we're going to do this, and then we skip this. Okay, if this evaluates to false, hey, get the current image, is it equal to image 1? No. Then we skip this and jump down to this. Okay, so if this is true, do this, otherwise do this. All right, get out your handouts. Whenever we see the sissy blue color, we know we need to get out the handouts. The if-else statement executes a segment of code when a given statement is true and a different segment of code when it is false. So if this is true, do this, otherwise do this. So this will happen or this will happen, not both. One of the statements is always executed, never both. So it's either this or this, never both. Write that down in your notes. All right, what image will be set when the following code is executed? All right, so I'm not going to help you do this. See if you can figure this one out on your own. I will help you I'll help you a little bit. Score, all right, so basically score equals 10, score plus equals 2. What that means is take score, which is now equal to 10, plus 2, okay? So score is now equal to 12. That should help you, okay? Do the rest from there. If you need help, ask me in person. All right, now we're going to finally add the image switching code as shown to a new method named switchImage. Click the act button a few times to see what it does. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to hit pause on my video and make that happen. Okay, so I opened up the crab. We're going to put this code to switch images in the crab. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the bottom. Okay, so we have public void look for worm. We started that method definition, ended it, so I'm going to go right here. Okay, so we need to come up with a name for this. So let's call it switch image. So we're going to make a new method. So we're going to say public because it's and void because it's a command, and we're going to call it switch image parentheses parentheses. All right, so we're going to do an opening bracket, enter, enter, closing bracket. All right, so we have the body of our method. Now, I'm going to put the code. I already typed out the code. All right, so inside there, and I typed that wrong, set image. And this looks kind of crummy, so I'm going to go edit, auto layout. Okay, so that looks a little bit nicer. That's about what we want. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. So I made my code, and I'm going to hit run. And as you can see, my crab does not do anything. Here's the quiz question. All right, the quiz question is, why did the crab not animate? Why did the crab not animate? See if you can answer that question on your own, and then let's go ahead and fix it. So the fix is we taught it how to switch image. We never asked it to, and so we're going to do that in the act method. All right, so we're going to come up to public void act, and we're going to say switch image semicolon. That's how you do a method call. All right, let's try it now. Let's compile that, see if there's any issues, no errors. Let's come back and let's run it, see what it is. All right, so we see that the crab now animates, although looks a little wonky. So let's see if we're going to deal with that in a second. Let's see here. Let's go back to our slideshow. Let's go to our slideshow. All right, so we called on it and it works. All right, this is what you should have. So far, threaded code for the world constructor and class constructor. Let's see what that. You should have worms placed randomly with a random number, image switching so that the crab appears to walk. All right, our crab image appears too fast and the crab looks hyperactive. Let's make the crab image change every second or third of the act cycle. So basically, it's like every time it goes, it's like act, 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 act. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go something like this: act, 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 act. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We are going to add a counter that gets incremented in the act method. Every time it reaches 2 or 3, the image changes and the counter is reset to 0. Write this down. A counter is a variable that is incremented and counts something. So basically, the way it's going to work is we're going to say act, 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 switch, act, 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 switch. So the counter, every time the counter gets to 3, we switch and go back to 0. Okay. Let's make the crab image change every second or third. Okay, let's add a variable to the instance variable declaration area called step counter. And when the crab constructor, then in the crab constructor, initialize the step counter to 0. Okay, my hope is that you figured this out already how to do it. Let's take a, I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm going to, let's come and look at this, what we have so far though. Okay, add a variable to the instance variable declaration area called step counter. Okay, well, if you look up here at, here's the instance variable declaration area. Okay, well, we know how to do it. So we put private because it belongs to the crab. We put the type of thing that can go in the box, and we put the name of the box. Okay, well, if you look over here, so the code's going to go right there. So we're going to hit enter and type it in right here. It's going to be, well, the name of the box is step counter, and the only thing that can go into it is a, the only thing that can go into it is an integer. It's going to hold an integer. I should add that to this instructions, right? So I see if you can do that. Then in the crab's constructor, initialize the step counter to 0. Well, image 1 equals this, image 2 equals this. So then right here, you're going to say step counter equals what? Okay, see if you can do it. All right, show me when you get it. Oh, I showed you. All right, so here's the instance variable declaration area, private int step counter. Here's how you initialize it, step counter equals 0, semicolon. All right, so let's take a look at what we're doing here. Okay, so whenever you say, whenever you declare the variables, you're saying private int step counter. So we're skipping these guys. There'd be boxes for image 1 and image 2. But so when you say private int step counter, you create a box called step counter. The only thing that can go inside of it is an integer. At the moment, this thing is empty. Okay, as soon as the crab gets placed in the world, the constructor runs, and you say step counter equals 0. Okay, so that's how that operates. All right, using a counter to slow down the animation. All right, private int step counter. What is this called? What does it do? Where does it go? Step counter equals 0. What is this called? What does it do? Where does it go? See if you can answer those questions. If not, ask me. Write that down on line paper. All right, write pseudocode in your notes that will use your new step counter variable to slow down the animation so that the crab image will change every second or third of act cycle. See if you can do that. Write down the pseudocode for that, and we'll go over that in class. If you need help doing that, ask me. Okay, so here's the code in Java. What is the if part called? Okay, so we're going to add an if statement. What is this if part called? What does it do, and where does it go? All right, so there's the code. See if you can figure out how to add it to where you make it work, right? So that we already have the code for switching. So we're going to take that code that's happening all the time, and we're going to put it inside an if statement, okay, like that. See what happens. Make the crab image change every second or third act cycle. Add a counter that gets incremented in the act method. Every time it reaches 2 or 3, the image changes and the counter is reset to 0. Click on the act button to see if the switching, if he switches the image every third iteration. All right, and then show me this during this is for the quiz. This is going to be during the quiz. All right, see if you can do it and ask me for help.